The mascara ran down her cheeks like black rivers, carrying away the remnants of what was supposed to be the happiest day of the year. Sarah Martinez pressed her forehead against the cool bathroom mirror of Romano's Italian bistro, watching her reflection blur through tears that wouldn't stop coming. 28 years old today, and she'd never felt more alone in her entire life. The irony wasn't lost on her as celebrating a birthday by yourself in a restaurant bathroom while your expensive dinner grew cold at table 12. The same table where, 3 hours earlier, she'd sat checking her phone every 30 seconds, convinced that surely someone would remember. Her parents, wrapped up in their messy divorce proceedings. Her sister, probably too busy with her new baby to recall that birthdays existed beyond her own household. Her ex-boyfriend Marcus, who'd broken up with her 6 months ago and taken their entire friend group with him like some kind of social asset division. When she finally emerged from the bathroom, her eyes puffy but her chin held high with the kind of fake dignity that comes from years of practice, she found her waiter standing beside her abandoned table. Davide, she'd caught his name from his badger. Lyra was maybe 25, with kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses and the sort of patient smile that suggested he'd seen his share of human heartbreak served alongside the breadsticks. "Ma'am, is everything all right?" he asked, and something in his voice made her walls crumble all over again. "It's fine," she lied, fumbling for her purse. "Just need to pay and get out of your hair. I'm sure you have other customers to worry about." The restaurant had filled up during her bathroom breakdown, families laughing over steaming plates of pasta, couples sharing dessert, groups of friends celebrating someone else's birthday with balloons and off-key singing. The contrast made her chest ache. "Actually," David said, glancing around the bustling dining room, "my shift ended 10 minutes ago. Mind if I sit?" Sarah looked at him like he'd spoken in a foreign language. In her experience, service industry workers couldn't wait to flip tables and move on to the next customer. Nobody lingered with the sad lady crying into her chicken parmesan. "Why would you want to do that?" David pulled out the chair across from her, moving with the deliberate care of someone who understood that fragile moments required gentle handling. "Because it's your birthday, and nobody should spend their birthday alone. Plus, you've barely touched your food, and Mario's cooking deserves better than that." Despite everything, Sarah found herself almost smiling. "How did you know it was my birthday?" "You mentioned it when you ordered. Said you were treating yourself." He paused, studying her face with surprising perceptiveness. "Though I'm guessing the celebration didn't go exactly as planned." The kindness in his voice nearly undid her again. She'd spent weeks telling herself she was fine with spending her birthday solo, that it was empowering and independent. But sitting across from this stranger who'd chosen to stay past his shift end, she felt the crushing weight of her loneliness settle around her shoulders like a heavy coat. "Everyone forgot," she whispered, the admission scrapping her throat. "My whole family, all my friends, up if I even have any left. 28 years on this planet, and apparently I'm not memorable enough for a single text message." David reached across the table and gently pushed her untouched tiramisu closer to her. "Tell me about them, your family." For the next hour, Sarah found herself talking to this virtual stranger about things she hadn't spoken aloud in months, about her parents' bitter divorce and how she'd become the unwilling mediator in their war, about her sister's new baby and the way motherhood had consumed every conversation until Sarah felt like a forgotten subplot in someone else's story, about Marcus and how he'd slowly isolated her from their mutual friends until leaving him meant losing everyone. David listened with the kind of attention that was becoming extinct in a world of smartphones and split focus. He asked thoughtful questions, offered gentle observations, and somehow made her feel like her pain mattered to someone. "I keep thinking I must be broken somehow," Sarah said, whirling her fork through the tiramisu she'd finally started eating. "Like there's something fundamentally wrong with me that makes people forget I exist." "Or," David said carefully, "maybe they're just dealing with their own stuff and forgot to look up." "Doesn't make it hurt less, but it doesn't make you forgettable either." When Sarah finally glanced at her phone, she was shocked to see it was nearly midnight. "Oh God, I've kept you here for hours." "You probably have somewhere else to be." David shrugged, that same easy smile playing at the corners of his mouth. "Nowhere I'd rather be, honestly. Besides, we haven't finished your birthday celebration yet." "What do you mean?" He excused himself for a moment, disappearing into the kitchen. When he returned, he was carrying a small chocolate cupcake with a single candle flickering on top, followed by Mario, the elderly chef, and 2 other staff members who'd stayed late. "Happy birthday to you," they began singing, and Sarah felt tears streaming down her face again, but these were different tears, warm and grateful instead of bitter and lonely. As she blew out the candle, David leaned closer. "What did you wish for?" "That I could figure out how to repay your kindness," she said honestly. When the check arrived, Sarah reached for her wallet, but David's hand gently covered hers. "Already taken care of," he said quietly. "You can't pay for my dinner. You don't even know me. I know you're a good person having a rough day. I know you love your family even when they disappoint you. I know you deserve to feel celebrated." He paused, then added with a small smile, "And I know you're going to pay it forward someday." As they walked out into the cool night air, Sarah felt something shift inside her, just like a door that had been locked tight suddenly swinging open. The loneliness was still there, but it no longer felt quite so crushing. "David," she said as they reached her car, "thank you, not just for dinner, but for seeing me, for making me feel like I matter." "You do matter," he said simply. "Don't let anyone convince you otherwise, not even yourself." 6 months later, Sarah would find herself buying coffee for the exhausted-looking mother behind her in line, remembering David's words about paying it forward. A year later, she'd volunteer at a crisis hotline, offering the same patient listening that had saved her on her 28th birthday. But that night, driving home with the taste of chocolate cupcake still sweet on her tongue, she simply smiled, really smiled for the first time in months, carrying with her the revolutionary understanding that sometimes angels wear aprons and work the dinner shift at Italian restaurants, reminding lonely souls that in a world that often feels cold and disconnected, human kindness still has the power to transform everything.